Hello, welcome to stream number 88, although it's not obviously a stream because I can't stream tonight. I just wanted to cover what we were working on Monday and that weird bug we had encountered, and then talk about what I'm going to be doing next week on stream. So, if you remember, on Monday we had a problem where making a quick code change ended up breaking the game so that the enemy is no longer loaded, and we couldn't figure out exactly what it was that was causing the problem. And so I put in some extra code, and then it started working, and I thought it was some, maybe weird issue with the program or something, and I wasn't 100% sure. I did eventually end up figuring out the problem, and it's in this code here. If you want to pause and take a look at it for a moment, you can dive in and see if you can figure out what the problem is. But I want to talk about it real quick here. So the issue is actually with this line of the code here. You can see we're loading these two memory locations with the address of objects low and objects high. So we have level object data and level object data +1. And then I'm incrementing level object data because the first byte of memory is the count, which we're storing over here. So we increment this and then we go on with the rest of our code. The problem with that is that what we were encountering was that the memory that was being stored was F7FF. That was the location where the level object data was stored on the ROM. And so what would end up happening is, because this is what was in level object data and this is what's in level object data +1, we were incrementing this, getting a 0, and then not incrementing this to F8 because we weren't checking for the carry bit to be set. And so as a result, we were looking in totally the wrong memory. So in order to fix this, what we want to do is we want to load A with level object data. We want to clear our carry. We want to add with carry 1. We want to store that back into level object data, because even if it goes over to 0, that's okay. We need to store that, but what we need to do now is check if carry is set. So branch of carry is clear, right? To over here, we're going to skip the increment of level object data +1. So we're checking if carry is clear, which means that we didn't go from FF to 0. If we did, we want to increment level object data +1. And that will mean that if we have this as FF, it will go to 0, and then we will increment this value accordingly. So a subtle bug, but obviously something that was important we should have checked in the first place. Now you could say, well, what about this? If we're incrementing level object data +1, couldn't we have the same problem? And yes, that's true, but then that means that the address we have is FFFF, which is at the end of our range, which is where we store our vectors here. Which means that we have a bigger problem, because we were going to overflow the ROM, and all sorts of other stuff has gone wrong because we shouldn't really be in that space. So I'm not worried about that here. So that fixes the problem. If I go and make this and fire this up, you can see the game starts with the graphics we had on Monday that we had added in from Jordan. And now the enemies will spawn here in a moment, and everything is working as expected. I can still crash, and all the animations play. So that's all good. So as far as next week goes, on Monday I'm going to stream, but I don't think it's going to be programming. I think it's going to be a special session on using source control, but we'll see how that goes. I have a guest lined up for that one, and hopefully we'll take care of that. And then Thursday, we're going to start converting over to 16 by 16 meta tiles. And the reason we're going to do that is I was talking this over with Jordan earlier in the week, and based on our discussion of where we want the game to go and the art that he wants to make and how he wants it to look, 16 by 16 is just going to work better. So that means we've got to make some changes to the way we load our tiles and load our attributes, and that's okay. It's just going to take some work to do, and that's what we're going to start on Thursday next week. Okay, so thanks for watching. Hope you guys are having a good week, and I'm glad everybody seems to be enjoying these videos and the 0 pages, and I will talk to you soon. Have a good night.